welcome back to Cinema Corner. I'm Blake, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Alex and Josh.
And today we'll be talking about the strikes that have been going on, that has been affecting pretty much the entire movie industry, Hollywood, if you will, with the writer's strike and the actor's strike, which have both been going on for, I don't know, like a few months now. I want to say the writer's strike has happened maybe 3 months ago, and it's still going. So with that, it's affected a lot of movie releases, and we're here to talk about them. So Josh has the list of all of these movies here.
And even though the strikes are justified, we gotta talk and represent the movie taxpayers, us three here, about how this is gonna affect us, because that's what matters. And what's gonna affect, aka, I looked into it. There's plenty of projects that have been delayed. I more want to talk about the ones that we probably would be more worried about, or also the funny ones. And I'll start off with, I would like to say, let's get into the TV shows. And the first one that has already been a struggle that to even believe it was even going to happen in the first place, the Penguin show has been delayed. And we all know how WB has been with side delayed projects. If you're not one of the original big trios of the trash verse that they were having before, they're not going to die for you. And they're going to cut their losses even if they spent a lot of money on you. I mean, they cut the Batgirl project, and that was already finished. So, and now the Penguin was already hard to get started. Now it's delayed. With also the fact that, just a spoiler, Batman 2 is also definitely in that process of, it was already a long ass release. Bro, that's just going to come out in the next fucking decade. So,
if at all. At this point, honestly, it's if at all. Well, that's
especially since James Gunn is going to be doing his own Batman. So it is hard to believe that WB is going to be willing to die for another separate universe when they're trying to fund their own James Gunn universe after all these strikes. So that one I'm very worried about, and that will suck if that doesn't happen, because that show, that would be a hit for sure. Another one here about worrying about a studio. Disney, during these strikes have been talking about how they've been wanting to cut down their production of shows and just overall, because why not? And Andor season 2 is one that has been delayed, and this was already a show that wasn't even the most viewed Star Wars show that's been released out of this universe of TV shows that they're producing. And then now you're trying to produce a season 2 of this. I would not be surprised if somehow that got, that just got absolutely axed and thrown out.
I don't know, though, because of all of the actual shows they've done, that's the highest rated one. It's gotten critical praise. I don't know if they're willing to just axe that. But
Disney's track record with Star Wars, I think, has proven now they're on a point more where they're just going to care about the money. Because the trilogy was not highly reviewed, especially when it comes to fans, audience, and it made a shit ton of money. So who gives a fuck if the critics like it in Disney's eyes right now, especially since they're funding so much shit from Marvel. They are just one of these shows that actually produce something good in terms of profit for them, which
plus Disney's ran by Bob Iger, who has been one of the most outspoken people during this whole strike of just being get back to work, fuck you. So
exactly,
if anybody is going to be you know what, we'll cut our losses, all he cares is all he sees is the dollar signs. It would be Disney to be the one that's you know what, actors or writers took too long to figure this stuff out, we're just going to cut this, and now nobody will have any benefits from this. So if anybody's going to just cut their losses completely at this point, it's Disney being ran by Bob Iger.
Yeah, and especially with Andor being kind of more of a deep dive show and not a more of I would say a fireworks type show where boom, bing, bang, everybody wants to see this. It's more of a deep dive cut for Star Wars fans. That one's on risk. I don't care how even close they were on working or producing it. That thing is, I could easily see that going away. Here's the next one that's been super tough, I would say, for us trio. Season 4 of The Boys has been delayed with absolutely no release date. they've cut anything in terms of production for it, writing, all that has obviously been delayed, and then no date whatsoever. Especially, it seems like at least some of these shows, if they actually got started, they'll actually have a date still on. It might just get pushed back a year. The Boys had nothing. They eliminated all dates. And that's with the fact that, you know, past seasons already felt like it took a while for them to produce a season. It's a bit worrisome.
This one is already done shooting, though. So that's at least good news.
Yeah.
That it's done shooting. So there's a chance that they've already put a good amount into it. On top of, we have Gen V starting at the end of next month, which is obviously a Boys spinoff. So I feel like they are still putting stuff into this universe. So I feel like as long as Gen V does relatively, obviously I don't think they expect it to be anything how the Boys has been doing, but if Gen V does respectable at least, then I think that gives us hope with season 4 already being done filmed. If Gen V does good, that eventually they'll get back to finishing that up.
Yeah, I think season 4 is still going to happen. It's just more of, this sucks that this is a show that we're looking forward to, and that season 4, which was already got all of us hyped for, is delayed on one of those that there's not even a release date right now. So
yeah, that is true.
Especially since production picks were obviously even spoiled for this season, it is a bit surprised that they weren't willing to release a date for it. The next one that is just kind of tough because you just want to see the show have a nice finish, and it's always worrisome when a show has really great writing and then there's a writer's strike, how will it affect it, and that's Stranger Things season 5. That's another project that has a chance to possibly flop on its final season because who knows how many of the writers actually come back or get accepted back. That could get sloppy, and that would be tough to end a really well written show that way, just because of some greedy fucks.
Yeah, that sucks.
That'd be brutal. And another one
I hope it does. I hope it ends terribly.
Oh, come on.
He's never watched it before, so his opinion does not matter.
Because we don't need to bring back some 27-year-old actors to be high schoolers. Just end it.
Which
it's been way too long.
That's another
Grow
thing.
up.
There's another project that I'll mention, which I'll just say now. I mean, Spider-Man 4 for a movie, that is one that's going to be delayed. We're already lucky enough that we're getting a 4th Spider-Man film. You know, we're lucky to even get the 3. That bad boy is delayed, and that's going to be tough dealing with that in the Marvel universe. And then all those actors are going to age, even though it's actually in college, so it's not as bad. But it's hard enough as is to keep, for some fucking reason, when these actors get these nice ass roles, for them to actually stay dedicated to the role. And you're going to ask Tom Holland to come back again and again for a trilogy. That might be tough. So that's not nice. Not a great look for that movie. It's going to happen, definitely. But I'm talking about at least for actually the trilogy being finished. Who knows? Who knows with Marvel at this point?
That could be pushed back too far. The only thing that I care about is, do we have any update on Kraven? That's still good, right? Because it's done. It
is done. It's getting delayed like a couple months. That's it. Yep. Yeah. That is one that is still on the go. Which, you know, hey, I'll just go off even some just bouncing off. One that I'm happy that's delayed. Venom 3. That's delayed.
I didn't even know there was a third one, to be honest with you.
That was in production, at least to begin, and because of this is delayed. So hopefully that's one that just fucking dies.
Yeah, I'm more surprised that was already in production. I didn't know that was actually happening.
Yeah, in production, or at least in start of that they were trying to get it ready to happen. So the fact that it is around that time for this to happen, good chance that just gets absolutely cut, gone, which is awesome. Yeah, that's a big win for everybody. Because Jesus Christ, Venom 2. Another one, hey, for me and Alex, House of Dragons season 2. They were trying to push with during the writer's strike. They'll try to push through already, and then it got delayed because then actors started going. That could be rough because you need strong writing for a show like House of Dragons to properly work. Otherwise, it just flops like the final season of Game of Thrones. And it's already worrisome that they try to push through, and then now you have another cut, another break. Who knows how that season 2 will go? It's gonna happen because there's so much budget and money put into it, but that could kill a series if it's really fucking bad. Because already Game of Thrones fans are salty from the final season for Game of Thrones, and then they got super hyped because season 1 of House Dragon was fantastic, and then you come back in season 2, it's like, oh, you're making the same mistakes as before. That could be bad.
That could be bad. That could be
and also
catastrophic. Yeah,
and also with HBO turning into Max, they're already making poor decisions. One that we're kind of, I would say I'm a little happy for, but already the show's taken fucking forever to come out, is Daredevil. That's been delayed. That's one of another Marvel projects that's been delayed. Already we've talked about who kind of gives a fuck about this show, and we're worried about it with everything we heard about, and then now also it's delayed again. It was already coming out so fucking long from now that it's like, why even
just
come out?
Cancel it at this point. Who cares? Charlie Cox is getting too old. Who cares? Wrap it up.
Yeah, you're rebuilding a whole character when he could have just continued possibly a character's arc instead. It's that show's fucked.
Yeah,
it was already fucked, but now it's extra fucked. One I know for me and Alex, Invincible season 3. I know not season 2, but season 3. I mean, they took years for season 2. Season 3 will take a goddamn decade to come out. Just because writers go on strike for that. I mean, they took forever for season 2. Season 2 is still not even out yet. And that means season 3, they claim that they started it, so that way they would decrease the time from season 2 to season 3 like it was season 1 to season 2. But now you have a strike. People are going to just lose interest if you take that long with Peace and Love. It legit could be 5 years till season 3 come out, and that's insane. So it happens, but
season 1 came out in 2020, so already we're looking at a 3-year gap between season 1 and season 2.
Yeah. So yeah, and a lot of those voice actors are a part of the strike. So
yeah,
just put that in perspective, and it relies heavily on some big name voice actors.
Yeah, they have some big names on that cast list. So
that show might just be a 2-season wonder, because that is a lot to ask for Amazon to support, as well as a lot to ask for an audience to wait that long to support a show to stay relevant.
Yeah.
And just kind of the final shows that was the big thing, I think, is going back to Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones was supposed to have a bunch of spin-off TV shows that HBO is heavily investing in, that had some people's interests. All of those have been actually canceled as of right now. Not delayed, canceled. Because George R.R. Martin has said, he was asked about it, and he just said, get used to it. It's going to be a long time before we ever even open that book up again, because of the strikes and everything that's going on, as he's obviously very in favor of the strikes. So he's not allowing any of those projects to continue.
Yeah, but hasn't he not even finished the books in general?
Well, yeah, the books in general, yeah. But the spin-off TV shows were supposed to be a really big deal. And it's kind of, I don't know, I thought it was kind of huge news that those are basically canceled and done, not just delayed. He was quoted saying they're closed.
If he was going to do anything with them, they weren't going to really have him for a long time anyways. That fat fuck just sits at home doing nothing. He doesn't finish writing anything, so who cares?
Hey, man, he's getting the bag.
He's trash. He doesn't do anything. He hasn't written anything in forever. So, if I was a fan of those weren't happening with his collaboration anyways. They were all without him.
Well, they were definitely happening because of him. They had to have his collaboration for it. So that's what I said.
That's what I'm saying. He's too lazy. He doesn't do anything now. So he's not going to finish his books and then help out with spinoffs. He just sits at home.
Let the man get his bag. Alrighty. Moving on to movies. Blade. That movie that was going to happen. That's, of course, delayed.
That's just delayed. Not happening at this point. Let's be real.
It's not.
We're not seeing it. We're not seeing it.
Nope.
There's a lot you can just say it's not happening now. Blade, not happening.
It's not happening. One that I think is interesting is it's not technically confirmed yet, but heavily thought and rumored to happen is Dune 2 is expected to even get delayed. Even though there's been a lot of marketing spent for it already, which would be kind of interesting of what happens for that franchise is if they delay it, because that's already so much marketing that they have spent, which means the marketing budget will increase drastically because of a delay.
Right, because they have to remarket it again.
Yep, exactly.
So,
which, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't the first Dune suffer from the pandemic delay as well? I think, yeah. Or no?
I think it did. I'm pretty sure it did.
Exactly. So that means that is now the second time.
They're not done?
I don't know why. It's just a lot of like Washington Post and
the actors that are in the actual movie. Like I think they're not allowed to like do anything.
Yeah, there's no promo, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but they can still do, the companies can still do the marketing. They just won't have them on like talk shows, but it's like, who cares? Is Timothée Chalamet going on the Jimmy Fallon show really going to boost the ratings for that? Like, who cares about that? If the movie's done, you can just do your marketing and put it out.
And there's
right, but I don't even think that they would attend the red carpet.
Again, who cares? Have you ever seen a red carpet and been like, holy shit, you're just wasting more money for a red carpet, if anything.
Listen, Blake, we don't care, but the executives, the rich idiots do. And so that is why, like, just where I got this from was the Washington Post, and they were the ones that were like heavily thinking that it's a strong chance that Dune 2 gets delayed. And
I would at this point, I would imagine it will be. Yeah, I would agree.
That's the second big budget movie for that franchise to get delayed, or at least suffer from a big delay. That's a lot of wasted money. So that's tough for the longevity of that franchise, especially with all the goddamn big actors they have in there.
Right. Same with like Kraven the Hunter. Like that was supposed to be coming out soon. If they push that back a couple months, that could really hurt that franchise and that kind
honestly. Yeah, I mean,
character.
That's when
I think the third one would happen.
Right, like all the momentum it already was gaining, that'll definitely slow it down. But at the end of the day, it's like a snowball on a hill. It's gonna catch steam. It's gonna catch steam. You know what I mean? Eventually, it's gonna snowball into a huge thing, no matter what. So it'll be like Morbius. Morbius suffered heavily from the pandemic.
But they brought it back in the theaters, though. So maybe if we rally for Kraven, we can support how we supported Morbius.
Right, because like Morbius was that is probably the peak, like suffered from pandemic. Like I've seen the Morbius trailer in theaters 80 different times because
the movie taxpayers, we fought.
Boom, 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 and like finally they held out and they put it out and then they re-released it. So I feel like Kraven will have that same thing as Morbius of like they just gotta stay strong and know like the fans will come.
Yeah. I don't know if he has like a good like kind of catchphrase because it's Morbin time. That was one that Morbius had. I don't know if Kraven really has one. So maybe the marketing team, the only ones that are probably working for the movie studios right now, maybe they need to start thinking, how can we save this?
He probably does. He probably has a nice like, I'm craving for a kill or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like a peak pinnacle moment like that.
Yeah. You could have like, I'm craving popcorn, and he just has a thumbs up, and that's how you get people to go to the movies for.
No, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
That would work on me. I mean, he's got a 6-pack in the background with just like a big bucket of popcorn. That means popcorn's healthy in my eyes at that point. Like,
right.
Yeah. So good point.
Corn's a vegetable. So
basically, yeah.
Gotta be.
Next one that is relevant for all of us here is Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 2. This one could hurt because of age. Our boy Tom Cruise. My man, he's 60.
Josh, let me tell you something, all right? You sound real stupid right now if you think Tom Cruise and age has anything to do with anything. All right, you know how they say, Father Time's undefeated? It's because it hasn't taken out, Tom Cruise. So, he's fine. This movie could get delayed a decade, and guess what? TC will be in the cockpit of the submarine. All right? Don't worry about that. Not to mention, they've already filmed a lot of this, so that does help.
I know. But it does suck, that especially because it's a part 2. That's always brutal to get delayed, because normally they like to plan those as a back-to-back almost.
Oh,
And
does that mean Spider-Man 3 Spider-Verse isn't coming out in March?
I mean, that shit was already gonna get delayed, and
they said it was coming. No, they said it was coming out in a year. They said it's supposed to come out in a year. Haley, nobody has recorded their voice lines for it, but it was going to come out in a year. So
yeah,
no
that was some delayed. Sony genius marketing there.
That literally will be at least a 2.5 year gap, just so everybody knows. I don't know when they're going to announce it. That came out in May? Yeah, the next one's not coming out till end of 2025 at the earliest, just so everybody can understand.
I definitely agree. In fact, I would say it's probably more 2026.
Oh, it'll be 2020. I'm just saying the very earliest you'll see that the end of 25.
Which that's another one that's brutal for being one that leaves on an empty ending that is heavily relying on the quick third film to come out.
Right.
And already they were fucking slacking or something. And now you have hella delays. Yeah.
That sucks.
So it does suck.
First one came out in 2018, by the way.
They do suck.
It's almost 10 years for 3 movies. That is tough. I mean, I know it takes a long time to animate all that stuff, but
right.
8 years potentially from the first to third.
Somebody, movie? Project manager, you gotta realize you got a game plan for the third. You know what I mean? You're gonna end the film like that. You got a game plan, a quick release. Figure it out.
I mean, look at Infinity War and Endgame. They filmed at the same time. Mission Impossible 7 and 8 filmed it at the same time, basically. Voice acting, you need to have that stuff done and animated ahead of time if you're trying to do a quick turnaround like that. Like, just simple.
So to go into next film that is just going to be dog shit, and we already were worried about before any rumors of writer strikes or anything, and then them pushing through the writer strike. Deadpool 3 is gonna suck. 1000%. You're telling me that even Ryan Reynolds can't improv? Wow, this is just like you were just doing the same mistakes that you made in the first attempt with Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. That is just fucking crazy to just overrule the writers and also not even allow Ryan Reynolds to have any input for the character. The shit's gonna suck. Bad.
Yeah, that's going to be terrible. It is going to be stupid, multiverse trash. Horribly written. Just, that movie is going to suck.
And I think it still was going to be rated R, right? Which is a chance that if it is, kills any chance of Disney Marvel ever releasing another rated R project. So, awesome. Because they'll just take that as the blame for any loss of profits. Not that it sucks. And they did a bad job.
Or that there was a writer's strike and they continued to try to do something during a writer's strike, and
they did a good chunk of production through the strike.
The whole basis of it is, you can't improv because you get to stick to the script that the writers wrote. So that's just the rules during a writer's strike. Well, what made the first two funny and successful was that it was improv. Because Ryan Reynolds, that's what he does. He embodies the character. So when you take that away, you're pretty much dumbing down the whole entirety of the third movie. So
yeah, they should bring back T.J. Miller too.
Rest in peace.
I think the only thing that could possibly save it from going from bad to like absolute trash is the fact that he does wear a mask majority of the time. So if there were to be like a resolution, which I mean, we're all hoping, they'll be able to then dub his voice over it and get it right, and he can then improv then. But again, that's gonna be delayed for a while. So
of a project that already has taken a long ass time to happen because of other things like Disney buying Fox. But yeah, I mean, Deadpool is a character that's so hard to write for to begin with, and as a character, even with Ryan Reynolds' improv skills, you need a room full of great writers to be able to write actually good jokes for a character like that. And you can't be doing the same shit as the first two, which is already a hard thing to do, because you got to be really creative at that point. So there's a lot of humps that this thing has to get over, and I don't see how it is. So that's tough. That sucks. Another thing that's probably going to suck, Thunderbolts. That's another one to suffer. A lot of Marvel projects is going to really suffer, and it was already suffering before these strikes. So we will see if Marvel MCU will survive this string of events, especially the Disney Plus universe. But Thunderbolts already was some yikes decision making happening with the very not unique of powers cast, and then they keep removing characters that did have unique powers from it, like Ghost being taken away. Yeah. And Harrison Ford definitely being in this movie. So if they have any reshoots, I mean, they're lucky that Harrison Ford is somehow still alive. So
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
made sense to bring
one movie for sure. If Harrison Ford doesn't die by the end of the film, then we're gonna get some weird. If they even make a second one.
Well, he's in Cap 4.
Yes.
So he's going to be in Cap 4, and then hopefully Thunderbolts. They're hoping he can somehow be in
Cap
4.
Brave New World.
Unfortunately, yeah, we just all have to say it. Unfortunately, hopefully he doesn't pass away in that time. But otherwise, he's going to pass away. Then by Thunderbolts, you're trying to get your third Thaddeus Ross because you've lost 2 actors because you cast a guy who is even older than the guy who passed away. Which made a lot of sense to recast that old. I get want to be in the same age or so, but still.
Yeah, for an expensive older actor. So.
And I'm gonna say this because I'm sure it's probably on here, and this one upsets me because I want the MCU to die by now. Like I said, Guardians 3 was the end of the MCU for me. I just don't care about any projects really. Once they changed Captain America to Brave New World, knew that's gonna suck, even though I was looking forward to it. Fantastic Four is never going to happen. Just never, ever going to happen. It's insane, all the stuff we've heard about it, which that is so tough because I want Fantastic Four so bad, but that is genuinely just something that everybody needs to accept the sad fate. We will never get a Fantastic Four movie. No.
Yeah, or ever open that nice book that they can open for a cool new MCU. Just events and stories and villains they can bring to one up what we've already had, and it's dead. No shot Disney's going to fund that or risk it because all these companies are going to be losing money. So kind of the next two here, Gladiator 2. I don't know if you guys knew that was actually happening. They're making a sequel to the Gladiator. Well, that shit has obviously been delayed. I don't even know too much. It's kind of hard to look into this. I just know it was one of the big names that was mentioned multiple times of being delayed. No clue how far in production it even was. I just saw that. I was like, that's a thing. And that's a thing that's been delayed. So, and then the final thing is all of the untitled Star Wars, the new trilogy, the Solo Rey film, all of those are delayed. And then now, because of Disney, who fucking knows if that shit will even happen? So, yeah.
I mean, they made a big deal about it when they were announcing this. They had the whole, presentation and all that shit. I mean, they spent money on that, so I don't know if they're probably going to get rid of a few of those projects, but I can't imagine them just completely killing everything.
They won't.
They're probably going to stick to the very few ones that no one seems to care about and kill the ones that seem interesting.
Yeah, like you said, they'll kill some shows, I'm sure, with all this stuff going on, but it's Disney and Star Wars. I mean, they're not going to stop some movies because that's what Disney does. You know what I mean? It's like with horse racing, when it falls and they, a horse breaks its ankle and they just shoot in the face with a shotgun and send it to the glue factory. That's just Disney with Star Wars. They never will shoot that horse in the face and send it to the glue factory. They'll just keep, putting stilts on it and being like, yo, this horse is fine. It should be dead. But we're just going to keep sending it out there because people are stupid enough. They're just going to eat this shit up. So Disney won't kill off the movies because they know that there's doofuses who will keep going to see it because they saw it when they were 10 years old and it's so good even though it sucks. So that dead horse is just going to keep getting thrown out there. You know what I mean? Disney will be fine with it.
You know what? I'm one of those dumb idiots who's going to keep on going.
You are. You are. You both are. That's the both of you.
Listen, the minute that they drop a trailer for something that looks even mildly interesting, I am going.
It sucks. It'll suck, and you'll still go. It's okay. We all know.
Anyways, that was my main list for the biggest delays. It's gonna suck for sure. I mean, justifiably gonna suck, but it's gonna be brutal. I mean, this will probably be our last like great movie of summer in a hot minute.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, we are going to feel these effects for movies and TV shows definitely for a long time, until obviously this still isn't even, done. Which obviously, I don't have to speak for myself. I won't speak for everyone. I'll just speak for me and Josh, as I know he's on the same page as me, as we both just want these actors and writers to get paid. Alex has kind of agreed with Bob Iger a few times, so I don't.
No, I have not. That is just.
But
hey,
for Josh and I,
that is just wild.
For Josh and I,
we
are in solidarity.
Alex is a simp for the white man.
Yeah, Alex is just like, whatever they say. Bob Iger, he's made so much money, so I gotta trust him. But yeah, we want the actors and writers to get paid. Obviously, these writers and obviously we're talking about the lower budget actors. Not the huge multi-million-dollar deal actors. These people are dedicating their lives to the craft that are needed and deserve a livable wage, which is crazy. You have to say that these people deserve a livable wage. But when Bob Iger is making $78,000 a day, you know what I mean? Let's refund some money here, people. Doesn't seem too hard. But so again, as just to clarify, Josh and I very much with the writers and actors.
And me. Fuck off.
Alex, I won't ever speak for him, so that's not my place.
You're so out of pocket for that.
Didn't have anything to say at that, so
you're so out
silence
of pocket.
is deafening. That's gonna be it for this video, as we said. As always, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Comment down below your guys' thoughts. What are some of the bigger projects that Josh mentioned that are either getting delayed or canceled that you're upset about, or just your thoughts on that stuff in general. And we'll see you guys in the next one.